Now, recovery doesn't start tomorrow. Calling all angels. Recovery starts right now. And here to help is Rated R for Recovery. Calling all you angels now. Calling all angels now. Calling all you angels.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Rated R for Recovery. That's Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com. Also, like us on the Facebook and pass us around. If you don't know what you're getting yourselves into, Rated R for Recovery is a recovery-based, faith-driven program, right? Bringing hope, healing, and restoration to individuals and families impacted by addiction. Through interviews, through sharing information and entertainment, we are mildly entertaining, by the way, yes. We strive to be a catalyst for change for all who wish to recover. Once again, you can find us on the web at Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com. And this portion, we have partnered with an organization that you probably all know and love called Kimmies Recovery Zone. We have a segment called Kimmies Korner, and then we also have some wonderful sponsors, which Joy and I will be talking about in the second segment of the show. See how that flying by the seat of the pants works?
Yeah, we'll
Very
see.
good.
All right.
See? All right, so I'm an addict and alcoholic. My name's John.
Hey, John. Hi, John. I'm an alcoholic. My name's Joy.
Hi, Joy. Very good. So let's welcome our first guest to the show. This is Jennifer. So Jennifer wears many hats, and one of the hats she wears is a person in long-term recovery. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You want to tell us a little bit in a general way what you were like?
Sure. So I feel like the older I get, the harder it is to tell my story, but I'm going to try.
Because you forget, you mean?
No, because it just gets so big. And I was not an easy case, so it's not like I came
No,
in
you
here
weren't.
once and was like, hey, I'm going to do this and be sober. It wasn't like that. So I'll start with I was born in Michigan. Don't hate me. I feel like I'm from Florida now. I've been here so long.
Where at?
From like right there, right outside Detroit.
Now notice Joy put her hand up because the human hand is what? The shape of the state of Michigan.
That's
and
right.
that's why she did that. Now, Joy did that last week and I had no idea what it was. So don't feel bad if you don't know. Go ahead, Jen.
Yes. Yeah,
Neither
so
of us.
I was born there to wonderful 15-year-old parents. So they were too young.
15?
Yes, they were 15. And my mom gave me up for
15?
adoption. Yeah.
15?
15.
15.
15. In the teens.
Okay.
Yes. So my mom thought she was doing the loving thing to give me a better life. She gave me up for adoption for the first 2 weeks of my life. So my name was Faith, which I think is interesting because that was the hardest thing for me to get was Faith. So I think that's funny that my name was that for 2 weeks. My grandma was awesome. She had 6 kids. It was really weird for her. She said she dropped this bomb on me when I was like 21 randomly at a Thai restaurant. She was like, hey, I gotta tell you something, and told me this whole story about me being adopted. I was like, wow, okay.
Are Thai restaurants known for that?
Okay. Maybe.
Didn't know. All right.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, she made a deal with my mom and got me back and basically said if my mom finished school, she'd help raise me, and there was that. My mom was working on her own alcoholism and addiction stories during this time too. So by the time I gotta speed it up, I know. By the time I was 12, she got sober. And she got saved at the same time. So all of a sudden, we're like going to this Pentecostal church where there's like people going nuts.
Flag waving.
Oh, I mean,
jumping around, being all sorts of crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
This is the mildly entertaining part, ladies and gentlemen, so use it with what you get, okay?
and then we're going to AA meetings. And she's always attracted the hardest, craziest cases of sponsees. I mean, they brought guns to the house, like just wild stuff. So this was like my vision of like, what is this, you know? And I think she was about 4 years sober when she did her first fourth step. And I had said, you know, I think that you were better and like more even-tempered when you were drinking. Because she needed really badly to do a fourth step. But anyway, so she got sober, and within 2 weeks I started drinking. So that was really interesting.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. Joy, what's your experience with your first fourth step? How long into recovery did you have?
I was maybe 5 or 6 months in recovery, but somebody handed me, my first sponsor handed me one of those Hazelden. It's like when you were young, when you were a young adult, and when you were an adult. And it really is more of a first step to me. It's really more of sort of a history than it really was a fifth step. So when I had been sober about a year, I got another sponsor and worked through the steps.
Another question for Joy is, what is your experience with women that have waited 4 years to do a fourth step?
My personal experience with women who go in and out and in and out is you need to do 4 and 5, you need to start working with others. 5 and 9 are really rough spots. So instead of taking somebody who's relapsed a number of times and starting them on 1 again, I'm like, we're doing 4, we're doing 5, we're working with others. And I've helped a number of people, I mean, not, you know, I followed the directions and with my sponsor, and people have worked through that.
Okay, and for those of you that are watching at home, because we stream on YouTube, you will watch the show and past shows on YouTube, and we're talking about the 12 steps of recovery as laid out in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, every other A or 12 step is a spin-off on that. So whether it's Gamblers Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Celebrate Recovery, all spins off of these 12 steps that were printed in 1935 and developed in 1935 and then first printed in 1939, I believe. So go ahead. I did mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
It's your show. I do have permit. My mom's here. I do have permission to tell her story. We're just going to tell her story.
The 15-year-old mom?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So anyway, you know, I drank alcoholically right out the gate. And, you know, I had blacked out in the backyard. My friends had dropped me off in front of my house, and I couldn't even find the house that they dropped me off in front of. Peed my pants, passed out in the backyard. She thought I was dead, so she called the cops.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I can't wait to do this again. So that, like, void in my soul, when I did my second step, we talked about what God was like to me as a child and what he was to me now. And when I was little, you know, I'd go outside in nature, and I just had this natural relationship with God. So I just had that. And at some point, I had you know, let the world cut that off. And I really think that's when the malady started to get a hold of me. I was genetically predisposed to it, so all I had to do was pick it up. And of course, when I picked it up, it filled that void for me. So for a long time, I saw it as a solution. I have to be able to do this. So I went to great lengths to try to control it, because I was like, well, my mom lost her privileges because she just didn't know how to do it right. So I'm gonna do it better. Yeah. And I went to college. Well, she put me in a Christian school, and I think that saved me. I don't think I would have finished school. I was just telling a story today, though. I still did acid in class while I was there. I was talking about how I like peaked in Bible class. And like, you know, yeah.
The best time to trip was before you had a final exam.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I got the test back, and it was in hieroglyphics. How did I not get suspended for that?
I had a friend who said whatever drug you were doing when you were studying, that's the drug you had to do when you took the test.
Ah, very good.
Yeah,
Never
that
heard
makes sense to me. Yeah.
So go ahead. We're interrupting because it's what we do.
So somehow I did finish high school and I went to college. And I really loved what I was doing in college. I think I wanted to be Hemingway. You know, it made perfect sense. I was an alcoholic. I'm going to write poetry. I'm going to drink. And this is going to be my life. And so I think only because I was studying something that I love so much, I was able to finish. In my last year of college, though, I got a DUI and I got into a car wreck on purpose. I actually had made it home.
On purpose?
Yes.
What do you mean?
I made it home and I was fighting with a boyfriend, so I got back in the car and drove my car into a tree on purpose because that's kind of logical thinking I have
Absolutely.
as an active alcoholic.
I'll show him.
Yes. Or no, I'll, do this dramatic thing to show you how sorry I am. You know, I'll
Was it
just
his car or your car?
It was my car, but he needed the car too.
Even a smarter choice then. Okay,
Crazy.
go ahead.
So of course they gave me pain pills, and I was like, I'll never forget, I was sitting on the floor, and I was like, this is what I need to feel like. If I have this stuff, everything else will be fine. And, I didn't know I was starting my, so I always say opiates were my first attempted cure for my alcoholism. And you can imagine how that went. So if you'd have told me I was gonna end up, which I did, homeless, shooting dope, and all the things, jails, institutions, and I, did overdose and die for 9 minutes, and was resuscitated by Narcan. I'm such a big fan of Narcan.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And we want to thank, and just a real quick shout out to Kimmies Recovery
Yes.
Zone, who distributes Narcan throughout Lee County, Charlotte County, and Collier County. They do a great job.
Get that here.
What?
She's trying to have some here.
We do.
Oh, yes.
Right here in this room? Right
No,
now?
I don't know. Well,
That's
yes.
what I'm talking about.
Tonight.
Yes, Vivian has Narcan.
Yep.
Every week?
What, see? Yes.
Every week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep. So, if you'd have told me that, though, I would have laughed at you. I would have never thought that that was going to be, But what does every good child of an alcoholic do, too? I feel like there's a lot of us, we become drug addicts. So I started that whole journey, and that, I probably didn't even really do hard street drugs, because it was during the rise of the pill mills. I was actually in Michigan, and I was ordering pills from down here, and I remember when I moved to Cape Coral and I drove by the pharmacy that was sending me my pills, and that was like surreal that I lived here now. I was like, that's so weird. So I think I went to my first rehab when I was like 13. It was kind of like a rehab / insane asylum. I convinced them my mom was crazy and I was fine, and that was the end of that. I was in a girls' delinquent home from 14 to 15 for the whole year, locked behind, locked doors at night, that whole thing. Then I told you the rest of high school, college. And then, so I had dreamed of being a professor. That was like what I was gonna do. Yeah, we've talked about this. We are the same. So that was what I was gonna do, and that dream was totally derailed by my addiction. And so I tried to move down here, geographical here, and I was gonna take care of my grandparents, and I started to go to school for skincare. I was gonna be an esthetician. And so, we just get this radar, and we find our people and our stuff, so I was learning how to be a drug addict. And so there was a girl in my class, I couldn't understand because I had no idea about the obsession. I didn't know about this yet. And so when the UPS truck would drive by and I would just get these butterflies in my stomach, and I didn't understand, I had put the stuff down, what's my problem? And of course I picked up alcohol again because that was always there. And I got pills from her. So eventually I start working for this woman, and she's I'll never forget it. I remember going over her house and seeing an NA book on her shelf. And so she had some kind of something with recovery, and she was giving me free, nothing is free, let me tell you, Oxy 80s for weeks. She's like, try these. And so I get up to like 8 a day, and I'm like, can I have some more? And she's like, I'm gonna need you to pay me for the ones that I was giving you for weeks. And then, you're gonna have to start paying for them. And I was like, I'm gonna be really sick. She's like, well, then you better figure it out. So I called, not my mom, I never called her, the one with the solution. I called my other aunt, the one, she's like my sister. She was 12 years older than me. She's my mom's youngest sister, and she was that one that I could always tell anything to, and I never felt judged. So I called her and I said, I think I'm in trouble. I really need you to come help me. And so she did, and that's when I started my Suboxone journey. So I was on and off Suboxone probably for 7 years, went to a few different rehabs. I went to Miami for my first, you only get one of these if you're lucky. It was like, you go to the spa, you get acupuncture.
Oh, you got one of those?
Yes. You're on the
Passages in Malibu.
It was that.
Love it.
It was called Holistics. And so I did heroin there for the first time while I was in there, because some people brought it in. And
In the spa?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Go ahead.
So, so there I am, now I'm getting the bus from the rehab in Miami, going into Overtown. I'm not even from here, and, learning how to do all that. Eventually, I go up to Baltimore with my mom's sponsee's brother. He's like a 15-year street guy. Like he, you know what I mean? He's really where I got to later. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go save him. He's really struggling up there. I'm on Suboxone, this is gonna be great. I somehow convinced someone to give me a car with barely any credit. I don't know how I did that. Jump in the car with MapQuest, because it was back then when you had to print out your directions. And I'm really bad with directions, and I somehow made it there. So I made it to Baltimore. I didn't know it was heroin mecca of the country. And I really got, a lesson there. And he was one of the most diabolical human beings I've ever got in contact with. And so, he shot me up my first time. That's when I started doing all that. He was heavily into crack. We were selling smoothies at
Selling what?
Smoothies.
Smoothies?
At festivals.
Like real smoothies?
Yeah, blending up smoothies.
Yeah, I know what a smoothie is.
Yeah, at concerts.
And then you were buying dope with the smoothie sales?
Oh my God, we were making we were stealing a lot of it too. We were getting $2,000 a show, and then we'd just go on a run, get to the next show, and it was terrible. We ended up in jail, so that was my first time. I'm in Baltimore City jail, me. And so I don't even call my family for the first, 12 days. And finally I'm I'm probably gonna get killed in here if I don't call somebody. And so there was this girl, she was protecting me, and she was gonna get moved upstairs, and I'm I better call my family. So they came out to Baltimore and they got me. And then I came back down here. And so that's when I started to go into the rooms, and my mom would drop me off. I don't know if that's when I went to rehab. I don't know, but like I said, there was a ton of rehabs. And even in Miami, I had read We Agnostics in the big book, and it resonated with me. And then being a literature person, I know a lot of you think the book is very dry and terrible.
You wanted to edit the big book?
But see, I loved it. Yes.
Of course.
But it was good writing too, And I was
It's a great chapter.
Yeah, and so it really resonated with me, but I closed the book and then I went about my way, And I had this wonderful friend, her name was Aparna, and she was really doing the steps, and she would kind of tell me, this is where you're going next, a road sign. And she knew I didn't have the capacity to listen to her yet, but then when I would get there, I would know. And I've kept that, and I use that with people all the time now, because it's that getting us to believe what we have, and then what the solution is a real process.
So, I was just thinking back in a humorous way that I stole from my family, my friends. I stole from Home Depot, from Walmart, and all I had to do was sell smoothies, and I never realized it.
Well,
Listen,
That takes ambition.
I know, at work, I'm allergic to manual labor. So, would
still
you
did all
tell me
that.
what point, how bad the worst
Yes.
it got, and then what was the thing that said, I can't do this?
well, I mean, I guess the worst that it got was the overdose. I overdosed in a motel room. It's actually Greenway Motel on Palm Beach Boulevard. I don't
Very,
even
very
think it's
luxurious
there.
place.
Yeah. And so I woke up on the sidewalk. Well, first I had a near-death experience. Was like running towards the light, and it was very peaceful, and it was like I wanted to go. And I woke up with this, attractive 23-year-old fireman. Yes, my clothes are cut open. I'm like, I'm sorry. And this lady of the night, I was driving her around, and basically I just drive her around, and she would share all her stuff with me. That was like my gig. And she's like crying. And so, and I remember thinking, God, I wish I wouldn't have woke up. But then my second thought was, I do not want that to be the story my mom gets. And my boyfriend at the time, who was not my husband, he was in jail. And so I was like, eh. But I still kept going. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, and this just keeps going on, but it wasn't too long after that. I feel like just, I think I got back on Suboxone one more time, and then, this was just a trap for me. And I got into the rooms, and then there I am. I'm on amphetamines from the doctor, Xanax, and Suboxone. And I'm like, okay, now I'm sober. This is sober. I'm chairing meetings.
Sure it is.
Yeah. I'm chairing meetings. I'm sponsoring people. I got a lot of other people sober. I was always willing to help people, but couldn't get it myself, right? And so there was just a lot of that. Then I went away to a faith-based rehab eventually that was more long-term up in Sarasota. And that's where I got saved. I had this moment one night, and I'm just like, why I keep doing the steps, and I keep, going through them, and I get to this point, and then I fall off. And I just, the experience for me was, even though I'd heard this 1,000 times before, but now I know it was just like Holy Spirit, I didn't have the eyes and ears to get it at the time. And it was just like, you're always gonna fall short. We say progress, not perfection, but I'm a black and white thinker. So I just try to do the program perfectly. I would fall short, I'd get all jammed up, and then I got people depending on me. I can't tell you guys, how horrible I feel inside, And that line between me and God would just get jammed. And so I saw the cross lay down like a bridge between me and God, and it was like, where you fall short is like my whole point. I'm gonna stand in the gap for you, and I'm gonna cover you. And it's like, now I get it. Because the story was just fantastical to me.
So this time, are you going to be free of Suboxone, Subutex,
Yes.
and all mind-altering substances? Do you think the prior times that using Suboxone was putting a block up in sobriety? We're saying, I tried it over and over, I kept going back, but yet, were you sober?
So there were times in there where I was sober, too. Yeah.
Still on Suboxone?
No.
No.
That I wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But definitely that was true, too. Definitely the times I did it that way, I was.
Okay.
I finally figured that out, and then, would try. But, I believe, and you were saying, I didn't have a solid first step. I thought I did, but I really didn't. It was like, okay, I have to do this, but maybe I can do this for a little while, and then I can ease out of it and have a normal life, And so, and then there was just the whole thing of, I don't know, there was a couple of things. So there was that. So I had that experience, I'd love to tell you, and then I got sober, and the story's beautiful, and I'm just an idiot. So,
We have to become convinced.
yes. So I went out on a huge run after that, ran away from that rehab, and made a big mess again. But then I did really get sober, and I went to my mom, and she was not letting me home by this time. She had had enough Coda and Al-Anon, but which really sucked for me. And
Of course.
she let me come home, and I said, I'm gonna do everything that you do. So I did. Went to church with her. We do at Ryan this healing, inner healing. My boyfriend, who's now my husband, we broke up. He was done with my crap, and I was so heartbroken.
He was done with your crap, but yet he was in jail at the time?
When he got out of jail.
Oh, when he got out, sorry.
He wanted to be doing good. Right. It was a lot. And so, but I say now, if we wouldn't have broke up for that time period, we would not be together now. Like, it ended up being the best thing that could happen.
Very
because
good.
I needed to do this for me, and I needed, we needed that time. So I did everything that she did, and I went through the steps again, and I really did get a good, I got on a good trajectory. Then I moved back up to Sarasota. We got married. I had a whole lot of healing in that time on top of doing step work. Then we got married. I got pregnant, had a baby. They asked me to work at the treatment center there. I was like, no, I did not want to work at a treatment center. They basically begged me. So I was working at the treatment center. I was working on my master's degree in Christian counseling. And, but I had the baby, and I was like, I feel like I don't want to put this program and stuff before him like my mom did me. I had never gotten connected. I was connected to people here. Like, Fort Myers was where I got sober. It was all of you guys. I've known you two forever. You've seen me in all my glories. And, so when I got up there, I didn't get really that connected. But I did have a sponsor that I met in a breastfeeding group. And I just, really kind of backed away from stuff. And I had a surgery. Then I had another surgery. And got on pain pills. I'd gotten off of them like you're supposed to. But then I started taking something called Kratom. It was just really hard for me to understand that I can't take anything that's mind-altering. Like, I'm gonna find something I can take successfully. I will skip over those parts conveniently.
It's hard to
Admit complete defeat.
Yes.
Something.
It was really hard for me to like that first step, to admit complete defeat. So ended up that I actually was able to pull that facade off for 2 years, and it was terrible. I don't recommend it. I was tortured inside. I'm working at this treatment center, and I'm on Kratom. It was like a total, double life. Just I'm a total fraud, and it was.
Yeah, me too.
Ugh.
I have been. I'm not right today. Yeah. But
Right,
I get
you
it. I get it.
You
I
get it. Yeah. And so, I end up in a room. I go to Bradenton instead of in Sarasota. I pick up a white chip. Like, anybody cares. Nobody even cares.
You went to Bradenton to pick up a white chip?
Yes, because
Nice.
I'm not going to go to Sarasota. And I'm sitting in there, and I'm like, how is this happening again? I know the big book now, inside and out, back to front. I can recite it to you. I have taken so many people through steps. I mean, girls who are still sober today, just like, I worked at this treatment. How did I end up here? Why? And I heard God speaking at the same time. I realized I may still have been in withdrawal, and it was, it was a little crazy, but, and I just heard him say, I'm not going to take this thorn out of your side. AA is your ministry. I'm like, what does that mean? And it just was like, for the first time in my life, I thought I finally got that feeling of, because it says that, we have to concede to our innermost selves that we are alcoholics, right? So that word concede, means to admit after much fight. And but it's also this level of acceptance. It was like the first time, I don't know why it was then and not right after I had my overdose. Like, there were better, more story-worthy times that I was just like, okay, I accept this. I have to do this for the rest of my life. And then I had enough experience of where I screwed up. We know, every time you look back, I know exactly where. So I would do a little bit of 9, throw it in a drawer. I'd do 10 and 11 for 2 weeks, like your sponsor has you do, and then I'd throw that in a drawer. I'd always do 12. You heard that, whether I was high or not. And then that was it. And so this time I really did all of 9, all of it. And then I did 10, 11, and 12, and then I just haven't stopped, you know. And then I moved up to North Carolina, and I got connected right away. I got connected with a church and a gym because I found out, you know, I'm a peer support person now too, so using the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, like there's other things that I have to do, not just my 12-step work. And so, you know, I look at that for that. And so I knew when I moved up there, if I did those things like I didn't when I went to Sarasota, you know, it wouldn't be the same way. Then I moved back, and I had to have a surgery recently in November, and I was freaking terrified. You know, I started working with my mom, by the way, when I had 3 months sober. I was making my amends to her. And I'm like, hey, Mom, I haven't actually been sober for 2 years, and I have to make amends to you because I really only have 3 months right now. She's like, great. Do you think you want to work with me at Ryan? I was like, no. Did you hear what I said? Like, I never want to work in treatment again. Did you hear the whole story? I didn't want to work in treatment the first time. Like, please, God, no. You know, and she's like, you think of all people I don't know when you're not full of SHIT anymore? Like, come on, you're ready. Let's go. I've been waiting for this. And I'm like, oh my God. So I did. I started working with her like right away, and still there, obviously. And but that's been the difference. I haven't stopped doing those things. Like I have a home group, I have a sponsor, I have sponsees. I do 10, 11, and 12. And you know, this has been the hardest year. I mean, year 7. And because I had the surgery, I was in pain for 2 years. And it started to come up because I have a defective avoidance that I was actually avoiding the surgery because I was afraid of what had happened when I had surgeries before, because I didn't want to relapse, and I can't put opiates in my body. Like, what am I gonna do? And you try it, so we come up with a plan, and my plan was not to take them, or if I had to, just be in the hospital. And of course, you know, things don't go as planned. And I came home, so I ended up, you know, in the hospital. They had to kick me out. So I'm like, I'm not leaving. They're like, you have to go. And this time I was able to take that medication and not relapse. And that was like, whoa, you know. And, but then the pain hasn't gone away. So I'm still navigating that. And pain, as, you know, I took painkillers, the strongest painkillers there are on earth, when I never had any physical pain. Now I'm like, this is a joke of some sort. Now I have this chronic pain. I'm trying to navigate that.
It really is. It's a very difficult, one of the most difficult things I think to do in sobriety is if you have chronic pain issues, what do you do? And it takes a team, and it takes just a lot of
So that's where I'm at.
and trying other things. I mean,
You said the best thing. I heard the word team, and so now opiates weren't my drug of choice, but you told me what to do when I had my hernia operations, and that was to give the medication to somebody else,
Yes.
and have them dole it out to you. Now, fortunately, I never liked opiates, or I never really tried to use them recreationally in the first place. But so I just took them for the minimal time possible, and just.
3 surgeries, and my mom was with me.
Yes.
So my mom had the pain pills, and she doled them out. In the first surgery, no problem. Second surgery, no problem. Third surgery, I wanted to sleep in that room when she was sleeping and go get them, but I didn't. I called somebody, you know, but it wasn't because of the pain. It was because I was wanting them, and so, you know, we got rid of them.
Oh.
But I let somebody know. I didn't creep in there and go get them.
I had my home group come over the day after. They brought a meeting to me. And it was the first time in a long time because I had this, you know, system going. I look at the triangle, what is it? You know, the recovery, unity, and service, right? So I was recovery heavy, service heavy. I had my unity with my people. I wasn't so much in the fellowship like I used to be because I'm a mom now and all that, you know. But them coming over, I felt like I had grabbed a bridge, like, back to solid ground. I had grabbed on to them, and I'm so glad I had a home group to let come over when that happens. So yeah, it really takes the people in weak times like that.
And new people, I try to say, if you don't make your decisions alone, chances are you're going to make better decisions.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to start.
I think that right away, let's give Jennifer a round of applause because she's been one of the best, most informative guests we've had on the show.
Thanks.
Now, Jennifer, the cameras are somewhere out there, so I would like you to look into the camera, and if you had one encouraging thing to say to somebody that's struggling, what would you say?
The only thing I never did wrong is I kept coming back. Even when there were people making fun of me, even when I didn't know if I was a joke, I didn't know if I was constitutionally incapable, I kept coming back, and that's the only thing I didn't do wrong, and it saved my life. So don't stop getting up and trying again.
People come back, welcome them.
Yes.
Just welcome.
Yes, and that's there it is. Give Jennifer another round of applause. When we come back, we've got something special for you, and we'll figure out what that is while we're taking a commercial break. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery at ratedrforrecovery.com.
Struggling with life's challenges? At The Next Step, we're here to guide you to a brighter tomorrow. Whether it's counseling, recovery support, or simply finding hope, we provide the tools and community to help you rise. Take the first step toward healing today. Visit thenextstep.org and discover how we can support your journey to wellness. Remember, every step forward is a step toward a better you. The Next Step, your path to hope, starts here. With offices in Fort Myers and Naples, 844-639-8371.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bell Bonds. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2245, 239-332-2245, or go online at gobailmeout.com. Shamrock Bell Bonds provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bell Bonds, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Look for the Shamrock, and maybe luck will be on your side.
Hello, I'm Michael Manzi, owner of JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673. When starting this company 3 years ago, I had no clue that we would grow to what we have become. There is one thing I can say that we have done from the beginning is take pride in our work, making sure every customer we do work for is satisfied from beginning to end. Offering residential painting all the way to commercial painting with jobs done in a timely manner, with highly skilled professionals giving you top-of-the-line work. To help you create your new look, call JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673.
Struggling with addiction? You're not alone. At Phoenix House Project, we believe in second chances and brighter tomorrows. Our proven programs offer support, hope, and tools to rebuild your life. With expert care and a community that understands, transformation starts here. It's time to rise, reclaim your life, and become the best version of yourself. Visit phoenixhouseproject.squarespace.com today or call 239-244-7876. The journey to recovery begins with sober living. Phoenix House Project, where hope takes flight.
Kimmies Recovery Zone, where hope meets action. We're here to guide the journey from treatment to thriving, healthy living. With peer support, public education, and vital resources like housing, employment, and Narcan training, we're building stronger communities. Ready to make an impact? Together, we're creating a network of recovery, resilience, and renewed lives. Kimmies Recovery Zone, your hub for healing and hope. Visit us online today at kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. It's not how we survive, it's how we thrive.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all angels.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rated R for Recovery, ratedrforrecovery.com. Well, thank you. Yes, for those of you watching at home on YouTube, they're clapping for Jennifer because she did such a great job.
She did.
And so this segment of the show is brought to you by JCI Solutions, painting contractors, both commercial and residential. Call Mike at 239-672-2673. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for Kimmies Korner. Kimmies Korner brought to you by Kimmies Recovery Zone, and we've partnered with Kimmies Recovery Zone and Rated R for Recovery to bring a message of hope to those that are still suffering. Please welcome Vivian. Vivian, tell us a little bit about what you do at Kimmies.
So I am a peer recovery specialist. I work with veterans because I am a veteran peer recovery specialist. We work with people who experience unstable housing, addiction issues, some mental health issues, and we walk alongside them. A lot of people give up on a lot of people like that, and it's amazing to see when one person believes in them, the change that can happen in these people's lives. And we believe in many different pathways, so we just walk alongside them with dignity, hope, and inspiration to inspire them.
What does peer recovery specialist actually mean?
What does it mean? So we have lived experience. So it's somebody who has lived experience. We do
the peer part.
That's the peer part. And so we've recovered ourselves from a lot of these issues. You know, I've experienced all of them. So I can walk along somebody who's had that. They have their own goals, though. I don't pick a goal. Or like a sponsor might say, this is what you need to do. We come alongside them with what is it that you want for your life, and then we come up with a plan that they want to work out.
What, do you have to go to school for this?
We did have to go to school.
Tell us about that.
We went to 40 hours of school. You have to have 2 years of clean time. You need to have 500 hours of work in the field, and
Such
you have to
as?
pass a level 2 background check.
When you say hours of work in the field, what do you mean by that?
You have to have 500 hours of peer work,
Of,
working as a peer recovery specialist
before you get
underneath
certified,
someone.
you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And pass a level 2 background check.
and how do you not, I guess, promote? Would that be the right word, Joy?
So
Or how-
Kimmies we are going to be starting peer classes where we can start training people who want to become peer recovery specialists.
Okay, and for those of us listening here in the audience that might think they'd like to be,
Mm-hmm.
or are listening at home and think it might be a good thing for them, how do they go about doing that?
Well, watch our website, and then when we have some classes, we'll post it, and come to the classes.
And so other places like not in Fort Myers, have this thing too. Like if I went to Google it, could I find peer specialists other places? You know what I'm saying?
There's national peer specialists, and there's peer specialists in Florida, different states. It's becoming a real professional career now.
What is the difference between getting certified in the state of Florida or as opposed to getting certified nationally?
So nationally, I can practice being a peer specialist in every single state. In Florida, I can only practice it.
Oh, no, I get that part, but why wouldn't you just go for the national thing right off the bat? I mean, what would, you know, what?
Because it's a harder test, John.
Oh, very good.
And you have to, we get certified here first, and then we can get certified nationally.
Okay, so now, as a peer recovery specialist, do you go into hospitals and institutions? Do you go into schools?
We do, and we also go into the courts. We can go into the jails. We can go anywhere.
But now, when you say we go into the courts and jails, are you go because you're invited to like drug court?
Yes.
Okay, and jails, you have like a.
We haven't started that program yet, but it's in the works, I'm sure.
Okay, and for those people out there that wanting to become a recovery say it for me. Peer
Recovery specialist.
Thanks, easy for you to say. All right, so see Kimmy's website
Kimmies is also hosting a chili cook-off on Saturday for anybody interested in participating in cooking chili or the smattering of applause. Kimmies also hosts a lot of different events for the A's, for all different kinds of recovery. Is that correct?
We do. Last Friday of every month, we have a social zone, and it's a lot of fun. Every other month, Hooters puts it on for us. They give us the wings and stuff, and it's just super fun. Last month, it was a Spanish night. They had a DJ. They had games. It's a lot of fun.
All right, so give Vivian a nice round of applause. Very informative, thank you. And at some point, you're going to hear Vivian's story about what she was like, what happened, and what she's like today, and that'll be in future episodes. So, as we'd say in the rooms, keep coming back. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Kelly and Alan. They got a new album coming out pretty soon. In fact, the CD release party will be right here in this room on July 3rd. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery at ratedrforrecovery.com.
Struggling with life's challenges? At the Next Step, we're here to guide you to a brighter tomorrow. Whether it's counseling, recovery support, or simply finding hope, we provide the tools and community to help you rise. Take the first step toward healing today. Visit thenextstep.org and discover how we can support your journey to wellness. Remember, every step forward is a step toward a better you. The Next Step, your path to hope, starts here. With offices in Fort Myers and Naples, 844-639-8371.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bell Bonds. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2245, 239-332-2245, or go online at gobailmeout.com. Shamrock Bell Bonds provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bell Bonds, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Look for the Shamrock, and maybe luck will be on your side.
Hello, I'm Michael Manzi, owner of JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673. When starting this company 3 years ago, I had no clue that we would grow to what we have become. There is one thing I can say that we have done from the beginning is take pride in our work, making sure every customer we do work for is satisfied from beginning to end. Offering residential painting all the way to commercial painting with jobs done in a timely manner, with highly skilled professionals giving you top-of-the-line work. To help you create your new look, call JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673.
Struggling with addiction? You're not alone. At Phoenix House Project, we believe in second chances and brighter tomorrows. Our proven programs offer support, hope, and tools to rebuild your life. With expert care and a community that understands, transformation starts here. It's time to rise, reclaim your life, and become the best version of yourself. Visit phoenixhouseproject.squarespace.com today or call 239-244-7876. The journey to recovery begins with sober living. Phoenix House Project, where hope takes flight.
Kimmies Recovery Zone, where hope meets action. We're here to guide the journey from treatment to thriving, healthy living. With peer support, public education, and vital resources like housing, employment, and Narcan training, we're building stronger communities. Ready to make an impact? Together, we're creating a network of recovery, resilience, and renewed lives. Kimmies Recovery Zone, your hub for healing and hope. Visit us online today at kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. It's not how we survive, it's how we thrive.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery. That's Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Rated R for Recovery t-shirts are being sold. Who has one? Is somebody wearing one right now that come up here and show the audience at home? Probably not. But yeah, Eileen, would you, what? It looks just like that. Joy, that's why Joy is here. And so, yes, and Eileen's wearing them, and they're for sale back there for the low, low price of... That's how much they cost. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's see. This week, as the musical guest, and often as a musical guest because we're so grateful, is Alan and Kelly. They're right behind me. Give them a nice round of applause. All the information is here. Is that correct? See these little cards? They're right up here. And then they have one of these, what are these things called?
QR code.
QR codes. This is, you know, I don't get out much. So the QR code, you can actually, what do you do with it? Take a picture?
Take a picture.
Take a picture of it with your phone, and then it brings you to a website, I'm assuming. And then you can buy shirts and CDs and all sorts.
CDs, digital music downloads.
Digital music downloads, what all you young people use today. So ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, if you haven't already heard, CD release party for Alan and Kelly will be July 3rd in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, Nashville recording artist, Alan and Kelly.
Thank you, John.
Means clap.
Thank you to Jennifer, too, for sharing your story with us tonight. That was a beautiful story. And we're going to start off with a newer song that we recorded earlier this year, and we're excited to play it here for you tonight. It's called Let Go.
My grip is so tight. Won't put the past behind. Try to control and arrange things I can't change. It only keeps dragging me down. I've got to let go. I've got to let go. Live, let live. Forget, forgive. It's not easy, but even so, I've got to let go.
Can't take back what I did. Hold on to these what ifs I carry inside, reliving my mind. It only keeps dragging me down. I've got to let go. I've got to let go. Live, let live. Forget and forgive. It's not easy, but even so, I've got to let go. I've got to let go. What's done is over with. When we hang on, nobody wins.
We got to let go.
We've got to let go.
We've got to let go. We've got to let go. Live and let live. Forget and forgive. It's not easy, but even so, we've got to let go.
We've got to let go.
Now, is that something that's on the new album?
It's going to be.
It's going to be. Okay, so, all right. So would you be kind enough to do another song for us?
We do one more song? Yes, we'd love to.
Which, that'd be great.
We do see a couple of people in the audience wearing our new Trying My Best to Live t-shirts. So in honor of that, we are going to perform Trying My Best to Live. It's a good song about recovery.
This one's going out to all of you. We love you all. As addicts ourselves, we know the deal. Just to see so many people out here smiling and being together is a gift like no other. I've had a lot of demons to battle down. Jumped out of planes, never left the ground. I made enough mistakes to fill a lifetime, but I'm still here. Heard old men talk about their regrets, taking the easy road with safer bets. But I don't want to be a prisoner of my deep, dark fears. I'm just trying my best to live, so I don't look back and say what if. Can't win if I don't try, never want to ask why. Didn't give everything I had to give. I'm just trying my best, trying my best to live. Trying my best. Don't have to be near death to make a bucket list. Ready for love, spoil a new first kiss. When someone asks me to pitch in, lend a helping hand. You gotta take a lot of risks to ride a perfect wave. Perfect wave. It's a lot of golf balls, that's how the game's played. How the game is played. I put it into the slide, I'll get it back times 10. Yeah, just trying my best to live, so I don't look back and say what if. Can't win if I don't try, never one who asks why. Didn't give everything I had to give. I'm just trying my best, I'm trying my best to live. The fact I ain't Superman, but you bet I'm gonna live like I am. Just trying my best to live, so I don't look back and say what if. Can't win if I don't try, you never want to ask why. Didn't give everything I had to give. I'm just trying my best. We're all just trying our best to live. We're trying our best to live. Yeah. We're trying our best. We're trying our best. We're trying our best. We're trying our best to live. A day at a time, a day at a time. Seeing how much we can give. Just trying our best to live.
All right, very nice. Alan and Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, Nashville recording artists. I say that because they recorded in Nashville. That's why. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you'd like to know more about Alan and Kelly, come up and get one of these cards with the RQ code on it, and or QR code. Yeah, very good. All right. And then you can find out everything they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending. Let's have another round of applause for Jennifer for Kimmies Recovery Zone. Join us again next week and each and every Thursday night right here in this building, 7 o'clock. Watch us on YouTube. And in June, we'll be premiering on podcastplayground.com. Thanks again. Good night.